Ba la 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 la
La la
la.
la.
Oh, it's the
That was
season,
not planned.
everybody. It's the
That was
season.
not planned.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It
That
is
was
the
not.
season. We are however many days away from Christmas Eve. What, 7 days away? Week away? We are a week away.
It's on Wednesday, right? So yeah, we're a week
We
away.
are a week
Yes.
away. We are a week away.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday. You guys will be seeing this week. Thank you guys for being a part of the channel. We thank you for any of our new subs. Thank you for our viewers. You guys have been really helping our videos get to a more stability, consistent level of viewership. So we appreciate all you guys who watch those. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe. We try to put out as much content as we can. But we're on for another episode here. I believe this is episode 71.
Who?
Correct.
Who
Are you? Who?
Yeah, again, overrated show. Was it CSI Miami?
I'm not sure. I forget. There's too many of them.
It was, CSI Miami, CSI Chicago, CSI Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto, Arizona.
Yep. But big week coming up. We got the matching beanies on.
Yes, we do.
I mean, like
well, Z put his on when he sat down, so I figured I'd put mine on.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, maybe we should get a little bit more creative what we wear, and here we are wearing Ravens Zeros beanies, and we're inside. So, and also I'm in Florida. So.
Yeah, Z is in Florida. So, it actually hasn't been too bad out here. The last 3 days, it's been in the low 50s. It's a bit rainy today, but but other than that, it's been
that's actually pretty nice.
Other than the last 3 days, though, it's been low 20s. So there you go.
Nice. Yeah. Well, today
pretty cool.
Yeah. But welcome back. Episode was 72. Lots of NFL news coming out that we have to address. But before we get there, we kind of had like a pretty legendary moment last night on my pretty legendary moment on my stream last night. And if you guys
let's just get copyrighted when it's your stream.
Yeah, when it's my stream. Yeah. I'm just gonna I think I have it pulled up ready to go. So I'm just gonna play it. I'm gonna take Ed and I out, and we're just going to just let you enjoy what happened in this sequence here. So enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted, and we'll be back.
Timeout called there by
no, bro.
They will put it on the shoulders of the kicker to save them with this.
I'm going to bed. Come cuddle. Dress me. Slice me. Slice me. It's blocked. It's blocked.
Wait.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, we'll start bringing ourselves back into it because
I can't.
An all-time moment.
Yeah, it was.
Playing NCAA and blocks a kick, and my lineman picks it up.
Yeah, obviously being down by 4 there, that was a huge block kick for me. Being
huge.
able to stay in that game, and then obviously with what happened, obviously that was the dagger in that game.
Hold on. Looks like I got to switch this game. Give me a second. There we go.
Yeah,
okay.
that's exactly what happened to me last time, and I got criticized for it.
Yeah. Well. Anyways, yeah, just a massive kick, massive turn of events. Mythical Jowsy down below if you guys want to ever tune in and hang out. So
yeah, our NCAA streams are very entertaining, but that's something that's never happened in our, not just this NCAA series, but any of our football series. So Madden, no, that's never happened. So then that happened, and that pretty much sealed the game for Z.
Yeah.
But it's truly incredible, just whole thing, play, reaction, everything in real time. None of that was scripted. So you can't beat that entertainment.
Well, let's get into the news of the day. Well, I guess it technically came out last night. Which Kirkland,
Yeah.
by the
Kirkland Commons, yes.
Yep. And just so you guys know, and at one point wanted the Steelers to sign Kirk Cousins. Am I wrong?
He was a name I was throwing out there that would have been okay with, yes.
Right. So Nate kind of wanted this guy signed. Now I'm not sitting here saying that Kirk Cousins is trash, but if you guys didn't hear the news, Michael Penix will officially be starting.
Yes, and they moved that game into Sunday night.
Yeah, which I actually think is kind of a good idea.
Falcons and Commanders. Yeah, you have Commanders trying to clinch a playoff spot, and you have the Falcons trying to win their division. So, which is interesting. And we'll get into the context. But the Falcons being 7-7, they're a game behind Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay holds the tiebreaker, but still, they got 3 games left, trying to vie for the NFC South, and they decide to bench Kirk, and they're going to play a rookie quarterback they drafted 8th overall. And are going to try to see what he can do and see if he can get them into the playoffs or win the division.
Yeah. I have so many thoughts on this because you know what's funny? I'm just trying to find something that shows Michael Penix being announced as starter. Here we go. Cool. You know what's funny about this situation is everything that was talked about during the offseason when the Falcons drafted Michael Penix. There's 2 sides of this. There's the side of signing Kirk Cousins for almost $100 million guaranteed. So if you're signing him for that much money, then why would you not spend a high first-round pick on something more valuable at the time?
Well, yeah, they got massively criticized for this draft pick.
Yeah. And then the other side,
not because people thought Penix was bad, but just because it didn't make sense. You gave Kirk a lucrative 4-year contract.
Yeah.
And this guy's 24 years old.
Yeah. But then the other side to it, N, is if people that were defending it in the way of, oh, this is Jordan Love, sit him behind Kirk Cousins, give him a year, 2 years, however many years, yada, yada. Cool. Great. So if that's the case, and if you planned on drafting Michael Penix throughout the whole off season, then why would you even bother giving Kirk this much money? Because now if you're going to make Penix the starter for this season, and let's say into next season, I'm not going to jump to that yet, but if that's the case, now you got this Kirk Cousins deal, and no one's going to want to trade for that.
Well, no.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does. I mean, there's probably a team out there that would.
Well, yeah, and you can go around the league and look at teams that might be in a potential quarterback market. But Kirk Cousins, I think, has a no-trade clause, too.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same thing as Derek Carr. So it's going to be a thing where either one, Kirk cooperates on their trade situation, or 2, they just outright cut him and they eat whatever dead money they need to eat.
This is so bad right here. First, Kirk Cousins pass touchdowns to interception ratio. First 9 games, 17-7. So he played well.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
Look at
he
the
was
last
serviceable.
5 games.
That's horrendous. Yeah, no, that's horrendous. You can't keep a starting job like that, especially when you're a team that's in the mix of trying to win a division and make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's brutal. Like, you truly just wonder what's going on. Is there things going on in his life that's affecting this? Is it terms of maybe certain things that just they're trying to do offensively is not clicking? Is he injured with something and they haven't disclosed, or they haven't talked about that? Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? Something mentally going on. I don't know. It just how bad he's played these last 5 games is really, really bad, and just dropping off like that is pretty wild. Because going into the season, I honestly viewed Kirk as, because let me put context here. When Kirk, before he got injured last year, he was the best he was playing as the best quarterback in the NFL. He was leading the NFL in a lot of different categories. And I think really his tenure with Minnesota I think he's been more in the upper echelon territory of quarterback. So I viewed him going into the season as more of a higher end quarterback. And then you look at Atlanta and really the landscape of everything. I thought they were going to be a lot better than where they were. I think in our prediction video, I think I had them as the number 1 or number 2 seed, honestly, this year.
I think you had them at 12-5, and
Yeah.
I don't think I was too far off.
Yeah.
But
So we were pretty high on them. But it's one of these things like just insane how bad he's played.
Yeah, I mean, it's so this starts raising the speculation, you see online, and thankfully, and I had this platform and YouTube channel that we can come online too and voice our same opinion. It might be the same as everyone else on First Take and Colin Coward.
Yeah. Thoughts on Jason McIntyre, by the way? Do you think Daniel Jones was still on the Giants?
And I really over the years he's kind of pissed me off.
Z is horrid. He's not in the know on these things.
No,
he's not.
No,
it's awful.
But like everyone's gonna start jumping to conclusions of like what they're gonna do with Kirk Cousins. Here's my prediction for Michael Penix. Yada yada yada.
Yeah. Penix might not even play well.
No, he might not. But
he might not even play well, honestly. So you can't jump to a conclusion that like Penix will be on the roster, but I don't think it should be set in stone that he's going to start next year right away. You just don't know. It might take some time.
So Atlanta, you have the Giants, Commanders, Panthers. Tampa has Cowboys, Panthers, Saints. Yeah, I mean, I feel like both of them have pretty easy schedules for the remainder of the season, with the exception of Atlanta playing the Commanders. But
yeah, so next week's game is Sunday night then for Atlanta.
Yeah. Imagine Sunday night against the Giants.
Oh God,
that'd be horrendous.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's a shame. I kind of feel bad for Kirk. But I mean, it just kind of is what it is. And
yeah,
it's like,
I hope he's okay. Sometimes when you have things going on, it really just affects your play and everything else, because this type of job is something that's determined on really what you're producing every single week.
Yeah.
And I hope he's all right. He's a great guy. I've always thought he's been a little overhated. And I think that's really just because the lack of success in the playoffs for him, and some of the good seasons the Vikings had, and just really underachieving. But I think that he's been a quality quarterback through his career, and it's unfortunate that these last 5 games for him have really been really, really horrid. Yeah. And it's hard to see at this point, with him getting benched, with being a 500 team and vying for the playoffs, him going back to Atlanta next year. Who knows how that whole contract thing's going to work out. But I am excited to see Michael Penix as well, because I really liked watching him in Washington last year. I thought he was really fun to watch there. But yeah, are these some of the contract details here?
Yeah, I got it ready right here. So the math: if Falcons were to cut Kirk Cousins prior to the start of next season, they would have $65 million in dead money.
That should be going right in my pocket.
If they were to trade him, the $27.5 million base salary guaranteed would transfer over to the acquiring team, so that the Falcons would just be responsible of $37.5 million of that portion.
That's doable.
Yeah,
that's doable. I could definitely see a team out there wanting to
somebody would take him. Somebody would take him.
No, somebody would, because you look at Kirk's body of work, and then you kind of look at this year. Okay, this year was kind of half and half for him. But definitely, when you look at some of these teams, there's some teams that you can go over that you can look at and say that they're not in like a bad position, but they need somebody to be a bridge gap for a little bit. And there's at least a couple teams that you can probably go through that Kirk can be serviceable to them and bring some level of quality quarterback play until they go into their future. That definitely seems, if I'm going to guess, I'm going to say somebody does trade for him, probably maybe a later round draft pick, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
well, what's your prediction? Are they going to win the division? Are they going to win a game? Are they going to win next week? Or sorry, this week?
Yeah, I'm going to say, well, their defense is coming off a great performance. I started them in fantasy, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because Spike just put up maybe the worst performance all season, honestly. I mean, Z, look at his numbers. I think he put up like 60 some points.
And I mean, just Spike, if you're listening to this, you didn't deserve to be there. So
No, not at all. Not at all. Just absolute horror performance. But Atlanta's defense balled out.
Yep.
They got 3 games left. I would imagine they would win at least one. But it's
Yeah.
going to be interesting to see how quickly, like, is this an offense that's going to kind of take off right away under Penix and with that new quarterback and that juice and kind of that little bit of excitement there?
Yep.
Is it going to be something that's going to boost his team, or are we going to see something like we saw with Jordan Love, where Jordan Love started some games early on in his career and struggled and was looking like, hey, he's just not ready? Which one are we going to see? We're either going to see a ready Michael Penix, or we're going to see somebody that's still going to need some time. So I'm going to say they at least win one. I don't think they win their division. Baker Mayfield has been a top 10 quarterback this year. Mike Evans is healthy. Tampa Bay's defense isn't too bad. Todd Bowles is a brick wall. I don't think I've ever heard him speak in my life. So, but they're going to win their division. Atlanta, I think, needs to win 2 out of 3 to get in a wild card.
Yeah.
And they might need a little help from elsewhere.
Sure.
So now if they win the next 3, if Penix does well and they win these next 3 games, they would probably get in. But I think if they win 9, they might need a little help.
Yeah.
Now, if they win 8, they're not getting it.
Yeah.
9, they can with a little help. 10, I think they'll get in at 10.
Well, it's funny how we talked about the Falcons a little bit, like at the start of the season, but here we are now, and we're gonna see Penix starting. So,
Yep.
let us know what you guys your thoughts on that. Topic number 2, as you see right there, is a bit more meaningful, not in the name of the player itself, but definitely towards the Detroit Lions. David Montgomery going out for supposedly the season with a torn MCL. And
how many touchdowns did he have this year? He scored in every game, almost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know he has a lot, but huge loss, huge loss for them. I think the things with the Lions though is like having Jahmyr Gibbs is a 3-down running back. He is.
Definitely.
He's 100% a 3-down running back. However, we do live in the era of the NFL where if you have a good running game, you probably need a good duo outside of just having a mobile quarterback. Jared Goff is not a mobile quarterback.
No.
So
No.
So
Goff's a take a little bit on the old school.
Yeah. So at this point, you don't really have a duo. I don't even know who their 3rd string running back is. Might as well bring back Jamal Williams. So,
Joik Bell.
God.
Reggie
God.
Bush.
Yeah, Reggie Bush.
Jeez,
Yeah,
who else can you name in that? Do you remember when they were just going through running backs like crazy for like
Javid Best?
Yeah, Javid Best was there. Reggie Bush was there.
Yeah.
Joik Bell was there.
Guy, he was horrendous.
Yeah, like who else have they had, man? That they've had
Zach
so many
Zenner.
different running backs.
Zach Zenner.
Oh, they had Amir Abdullah at one point.
Yep.
They had geez, man. There's too many to name, man. They've gone through so many different running backs over the years. David Montgomery's going to finish with 775 rush yards and 12 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, that's solid. I mean, that's solid. I mean, if he probably played the rest of the season, he probably could have approached 1,000 rushing yards.
Yeah, close to it, especially as well that he also is offset with Jahmyr Gibbs. So
yeah. But I don't think this is like the end of the world for the Lions. The only thing that starts worrying me with the Lions is the fact that like a lot of their team is getting hurt and their defense looks horrendous. And would you say that the Lions peaked a little bit too early?
you could maybe say that just given the fact of everything up to that Buffalo Bills game that we saw a few weeks ago. You could say that. I know that was a topic of conversation in the middle. Yeah, last week, or I can't remember what week it was. I remember that was a topic of conversation in the middle of the season when the Lions were like 7-1, 8-1, whatever it was. So you could make that, but then the thing is, it's like you're playing to win those games. So honestly, I don't believe in peaking early or peaking late. I really don't. At the end of the day, the Lions are playing these games to win. They're trying to win their division. They're trying to win their conference. Mm-hmm. And it just gets to that point where, unfortunately, they're just meeting some injuries later on in the season. And when you look at the NFL season, it's short, but at the same time, it's kind of long because you're playing with the way the game is, but you're playing once a week, so like you have those long week stretches of okay, the first quarter of the season, then halfway through the season, right? You're looking great at 7-1, 8-1, and then later in the year starts getting colder, and you're in that final last four weeks and things like that, and then you start to find that injury bug, and that happens to at least a couple teams that are trying to get in the race and everything, and unfortunately they've kind of bumped into that a little bit. But I don't really believe in peaking early, peaking late, honestly. It's all about winning games. And if you're winning your games early on and throughout the season and you're being a competitive team, and with the Lions, different points in the season look like the best team in the league, being a better team than you were last year, that's fantastic. I think they're just meeting an injury bug right now.
Yeah, I just said the only thing I get nervous with them is that they start losing their identity and they start losing the momentum because because the one singular, well, I'm not gonna say one, but I get a little nervous then because I'm not gonna say they get stomped by the Bills, but the Bills did outplay them the whole game.
Yeah, they
Lions
did.
defense does not look good, and you have the Eagles who are now. I wouldn't have said this 3 weeks ago, but now the Eagles look like the best team in the NFC. And just so you're aware, the Lions are 12-2, and they have the same record as the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not even guaranteed to win the division.
No, they're not,
So
especially with how good they've played. I'd say up before the Bills game, the Lions have been viewed as the best team in the league.
yeah,
The Bills game was their toughest game, and the Bills are obviously a great team. They're a lot better than I think a lot of people expected them to be this year. Not that they're expected to like not be like good, but like a little bit of a drop off. But honestly, this is probably the best year under the Josh Allen era that they've had in terms of just regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now you have a team in Philadelphia who's starting to get more comfortable and is starting to kind of get better as a team, even though they've only lost 2 games or so. But like it seems like they're putting more production offensively together than the last however many weeks. The Vikings have been consistent all year. Sure, there's been a couple dud performances from Sam Darnold, but they've been a consistent ball team. So with the Lions, it'd be kind of crazy them being 11-2, 12-2, whatever their record is, and if they still wouldn't win their division.
Yeah.
It's freaking nuts. And honestly, the NFC, I don't think anybody expected the NFC to have 3 2-loss teams. Nobody did. The NFC the last 3-4 years has just been looked at as a much inferior division compared to the AFC.
I mean, imagine being 12-2 and you're not in the division lead.
Yeah, you're a wild card.
Imagine being 10-4 and you're third place.
Yeah, it's awful. It's rough, man. It's freaking rough.
Speaking of division, big matchup on Saturday. Big matchup. Ravens at home against the Steelers. This is a part
should
of
have been the freaking Sunday night game. What is the Sunday night game?
I looked at it earlier. I want to say it was Miami, I think.
God.
Yeah, I know. But I honestly kind of like it this way more because like Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt are going to be broadcasting the game. Sunday night. God, I don't think you want to know who Sunday night is in.
Yeah. Was it Dolphins and who?
Tampa and Dallas.
Tampa, Dallas. That's Sunday night game. Just fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. Oh
we'd be mistaken not talking about this one. With us wearing the beanies. There's no other way around it. The Steelers have kind of owned this rivalry the last 3 or 4 seasons. Sure, I mean, there are excuses that could be made on the Ravens side, but at the same time, no. A couple of the games, the Ravens have had a playoff game locked, so the Steelers had played their starters against the Ravens backups. A couple of the games Lamar didn't play. However, the games Lamar has played, I think he's 1-4.
Yeah.
So here we are coming into another matchup. And this isn't quite for the division yet, but it is. Let me take that back. It's for the Steelers for the win division. For the Ravens, no. It'll essentially tie them. But it's a huge game. And I just, I hope the Ravens eventually kind of end this streak. And I think Saturday will be the day they do it. But I mean, it's going to be another great matchup. Another great matchup.
Yeah, I hope that what I'll say is I hope it's a little bit more of a smoother game than it was last time. Last time it was just super sloppy in my opinion. Close game, which is usual, but there was just sloppiness on both sides of the field for both teams. And I like to see just a crisp, hard hitting, little bit of defense, a little bit of an offense type game. That's what I like to see. I would actually like to see it switched up a little bit. I'd actually like to see maybe some decent points scored, to be honest with you, and not see freaking 16-13.
No, I mean, I kind of agree with you.
I'd actually maybe like to see 27-24, 24-21.
Yep.
I don't know, freaking 43-40. I don't know.
Right.
I'd actually like to see it be a little different, where it's still a close game, but it's actually higher scoring, because these games are never high scoring.
So this is kind of what I mean with Lamar. Now, if you guys don't know his stats, there's two teams really in Lamar's career that he struggles against. Steelers, and we all know the second team. It's said every single year. And that's the Kansas City Chiefs. But this is not good. 1-4 record against the Steelers. 270 yards, total yards a game, 5 touchdowns to 8 picks. So what would you say that the Steelers do well that gets him out of his, out of who Lamar Jackson is? Outside the basic answer of, well, they have a dominant pass rush. They play him twice a year. Like, what do you think it is with the Steelers that them and the Chiefs Lamar struggles against? Is it a mental thing? Like, what is it?
Well, I think with the Steelers, and I can say this with the Steelers because I watch every single game. I think that
sometimes that's misery.
Yeah. I think with him, I think that they just play him differently than the Steelers play other teams. Like the Steelers kind of there's times where I see where Lamar's been confused and thrown off with what the Steelers might be showing him defensively. He's just not effective, man. I don't know what I don't know what all of it is in terms of the psyche aspect, in terms of why he finds himself struggling against this team. And really doesn't really matter what the team's like. He just finds there's something psychological there that he has or something. But in terms of on the field, what we watch on the field, Lamar doesn't really run the ball against the Steelers well. What I've noticed is that for some reason they like to make Lamar pass happy when they play the Steelers. When the Ravens the last 5 years have been really run oriented, and there's quite a few seasons where they've ran the ball really well. This is a season where they've done that. And the last matchup, Derrick Henry hardly freaking ran the football. Yep. Lamar was throwing the ball. Lamar would be out of the pocket and would have to throw the ball away.
Yep.
So the Steelers have always have had a good pass rush, but I don't think that's necessarily it. I just think in terms of maybe what they throw at him on defense are other things that other defenses aren't throwing at him. I think the Ravens try to get too cute and try to outthink and outsmart themselves in terms of beating the Steelers a different way than how they beat other teams. They get away from who they are, and Lamar finds himself throwing almost 40 passes every time that they play.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's something that's daunting, and that's something that hasn't worked. It doesn't matter what type of receivers he has, but in those 5 games he's played, to me, from what I've seen and from what I remember, is that they for some reason go away from what works and what has worked. And I think they just outthink themselves. This is a division game. Steelers have good defense. We have to try to win a different way. And I'm not really sure why they didn't really run through or play through Derrick Henry as much last time. Maybe that might change. But you look at their previous OC and their new OC, they're still doing similar things. So to me, that's coming from John.
Yep.
But I can't speak on everything because I'm not in those rooms, but at least just from what you watch and from the outside, that's what it seems like to me. The Steelers are playing him differently than other defenses play. The Steelers, I think, do a pretty good job at quarterback containment. And the Ravens, I think, just they go away from how they produce their offense in these games. They go a different way. And I'm not really sure why they do that.
At the same time, it is a familiarity thing. You know, you do have a sign on the defense now that, you know, Patrick Queen used to be with the Ravens. A lot of these guys that currently play on the Steelers and have been for consecutive years, like TJ and Minka and some other guys. I mean, some of them had played Lamar in college. Obviously, they played with Lamar. They played against Lamar multiple years in the NFL. So a major part of it is they know how he plays, and we know what Lamar's NFC record is because he goes against these teams that sees him once every 2-3 years, and they don't know how to play him.
Yeah.
But for some reason, but it's just a combination of everything. Just the Steelers always play the Ravens well. And I think Lamar has, just like with the Chiefs, he has this mental thing that he's trying to get past him. But it's not just Lamar. I'm a Lamar lover. I'm a diehard Lamar fan forever and always. But with not even reference to the Chiefs because it doesn't matter. We're playing the Steelers this week. But in reference to the division, when they go up against the Bengals, and even though they lost to the Browns earlier in the season, I'll still count the Browns. You know, there's a different level of confidence where they play more free and they're confident they're going to beat them. But it's just different story.
Lost to the Browns and the Raiders.
Yeah, terrible.
I mean, Steelers lost to the Browns too, but I mean the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders is bad. The Raiders is bad.
And that was home.
And to think about, I was at that game.
It was the second week of the season.
I was at that game.
And Z was out that game.
Yep, quite frankly, ruined the trip.
$300 down the drain.
So it's gonna be a big game on Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday at 4:30.
Yeah, Z's picking the Ravens. I'm picking the Steelers to win this. Reason why is Steelers have had this team's number, and they have Lamar's number, and I believe in this Steelers team where they lost crappy against the Eagles last week, but to me, this team is, I've said this at different points through the year, that this team's a little more different for me than in previous years. Not just that it's a better team, but this team to me is just more structured and more disciplined. There's more leadership on this team. There's direction on this team rather than years prior. I mean, who's leading us? Mitch? Mason? Kenny? Like, no. Absolutely not. Like there's usually a plan each week offensively. There's some weeks you're not really sure what Arthur Smith is doing, but there is a plan each week and you can see that on the offense. But I do think, especially in a season where the Ravens defense is very vulnerable of giving up big plays, we finally have a quarterback that makes those big plays and pushes the ball. We've had stretches where we've run the ball well, but again, I'm expecting this to be a close game again. I'm not expecting this to be a heavy offensive game, but the Steelers know, and I think that they've honestly been kind of preparing for this game the last 2 weeks because the Eagles game, even though they lost, this Ravens game's still been in the back of their mind because they know if they win this, they win the division. So if they lose the Eagles game, it is what it is. I think they wanted to come out of the Eagles game healthy. And if they win, they win. They lose, and they go to this game. I think that's kind of really been the focal point there. But this team's different. There's leadership. There's structure. There's discipline here. There's vulnerability in Steelers defense as well. But overall, this is a different Steelers team, in my opinion, than the Ravens have seen. Well, not even in my opinion. I mean, that's factual. This is a different Steelers team the Ravens have seen the last 4 years. You actually have an offense that can score points. The Steelers can win in all three different ways. They've won this season on defense. They've won the season through special teams. They've won the season through their offense. So they're able to win in all three different ways. And I just think with the Ravens, like, they arguably still have the best offense in the NFL. You can make that argument between them. Is it the Bills now? I mean, Green Bay's been up there. But we'll see how the Ravens approach this and how they go about themselves offensively this time around.
Yep.
But I'm confident in where the Steelers team is at this year, that they are going all in on this game. And I think that this is going to be one where they pull through and they clinch this division, and the Ravens will win their last 2 games, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
Yep. Well, then we're going to wrap it up on the Ravens and Steelers. About 35 minutes in the episode. So, and I got to say, it feels better to have our episodes that I remember the days when we used to have like an hour-long episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Just nobody wants to sit through watch that.
No. Just nobody did. And, quite frankly, just it wasn't a good time on our end either.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I'm completely good with 15 minutes to half hour.
Yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, we'd like to do these weekly videos on the NFL. Next video,
Merry Christmas. Happy holiday.
Yep. Stay tuned for the next videos. We talk about Bill Belichick, and there's some comments are going to be made. So,
yeah, some comments to be made. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the beginning of it with our NCAA little clip there. But we appreciate your guys' support, and we will see you guys for episode 72.